Hey guys, welcome along. Ritch here. Today we're going to be sharing with you the secrets to a slim waistline. This is one of our popular seminars that we continue to hold. And now what I'd like to share with you today is I'd like to debunk a lot of the myths and the misconceptions that are around getting a slim waistline. We're going to take about half an hour, 40 minutes to go through this information as quickly as possible, but also in an easy to understand way. What I'd like to ask you is, what is it that you really would most like to achieve, or what would you most like to get out of this seminar? Because that'll really help you to decipher and to scramble the information that I'm going to be sending over to you as best as possible. So have a good think now with what it is that you'd actually like to get from this particular seminar. What is the most important piece of information that you would like? So let's jump straight over into what will be, first of all, I guess, why you're here. You know, maybe you've tried the infomercial exercise gimmicks and you haven't got the result. You've ordered the Ab King Pro or that ab belt, and you had it sent to your door, and they've said, send it back to us, and then you've tried it out and it's ended up under your bed, and then you've never pulled it out again, and it's collecting dust in there right now. I remember as a young child sitting on the couch and watching these infomercials, and then having my mother call up on the phone and order one, and a couple of days later it's showing up and her doing this 3-minute ad of exercise and then putting it away, and ended up being in the cupboard there and collecting dust. So if you've had that problem, or if you've done that in the past, if you're guilty of that, then we can certainly help to save you a bunch of money on never having to get any of these exercise gimmicks again. Maybe you've tried a whole bunch of diets saying, you can't eat this food because this food goes straight to your waistline, or avoid this food because it stops fat loss. Maybe you've tried different detox diets, or different diets that tell you that you can shrink your waistline just from eating these special foods. These seem almost as crazy to me as the exercise gimmicks. Maybe you've carried around that little extra bit around your waistline. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's a lot bit, and you're wanting to really just shrink that down with the most effective strategies possible. So it doesn't have to be this way. What if you did have a waistline slimming program, which we're going to share with you some of the secrets inside that program to ensure consistent results and the knowledge to avoid the myths and finally feel confident in that slim dress or tight jeans without worrying about the muffin top. So let's go on to just a really quick intro about myself. I'm just going to actually read off here because it's probably easier than me telling you a massive story. So I really just started my life. I was born premature, two months early. Right from the beginning, it really seemed as though life was testing me. I struggled with birth, bullies at school, low confidence, low self-esteem. And as a teenager, I felt rejected by my peers, teachers, and really members of the opposite sex. And really into my very early teenage adult years, my first full-time employment was actually milking cows. So I woke up at 5 in the morning to milk cows, drive down to the paddock with the headlights bright and the dark morning sky. And I'd reach that paddock, and then, of course, I'd get shat on for 4 hours. Not my ideal introduction to the workforce. Nothing wrong with people who are milking cows or anything like that if they love it. But it wasn't for me. I've had jobs where I struggled pay to pay and really just didn't enjoy what I was doing. And later on, my health really declined because I was just eating way too much junk food and neglecting my fitness. I didn't do a lot once I finally kicked the farm job. So I started to turn it all around when I first joined the first gym and started focusing on improving myself. I remember talking to the membership consultant. He looked at me and he said, "What do you want to achieve?" And nervously, I said, "I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club." I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I saw him in that movie, and I thought, "Oh, that guy looks ripped. That would be what I'd love to achieve." And within about 6 months, I'd achieved that. Really, I worked with a personal trainer, and I followed a plan and an eating plan and a training plan, and he showed me how to do everything. And it was that was partly how I was able to achieve the results, other than just being motivated and continually motivating myself. It's like Zig Ziglar says, right? He says motivation's like bathing. That's why we have to do it daily. So although I'd improved my body after 6 months, I was still really plagued with, past negative emotions, really lack of self-belief, and this really reflected in my relationships and my career until I actually connected with some mentors who really helped me to break through a lot of my inner challenges, so I was able to actually reach higher levels. I ended up going on to become a personal trainer. These mentors really helped me in that area. After I'd helped improve my own health and my confidence, I was able to go on to help other people as well. And really, I guess that's what I do now. Married to my awesome wife, living in Sydney at the moment. and we run a successful fitness business here in the Sydney area in Cronulla. And I've appeared on radio, magazine, and newspaper, but no one cares about that. And I'm qualified in NLP, hypnotherapy, nutrition, and personal training, really just because I really wanted to get on the inside, on the mindset side, so I could help my clients a bit more with their mindset. And also, of course, nutrition plays just as much of a part as far as exercise goes as well. So let's jump into the next part. So what are you really going to learn? Well, here's what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn the number one mistake that stops waistline fat loss. You're going to learn how stress affects your waistline. So is stressing out all day? And I know you might say to me, oh, Nick, I stress, but doesn't everybody? And I've heard that a lot, trust me, especially from clients who have kids and a job and all that sort of stuff as well. Or kids can be like a full-time job, of course. You're going to learn my 2 best stomach slimming exercises. You're going to learn the number one waistline firming mistake to avoid. A lot of people will constantly make this mistake and try everything else, but because they're constantly making this mistake, anything else they try is pretty much null and void. So I'll reveal the number one waistline firming mistake to avoid, and then we'll break it all down. We'll pull it all together into an effective plan that you can walk away today saying, all right, I've got the information, I know what I need to do now, I've got an action plan, I'm going to head over, I'm going to make this slim waistline happen. All right. The number one mistake that prevents midsection weight loss. Let's get into the meat, shall we? Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's really talk about calories. So this is probably one of the most important pieces of information that you can take away from the seminar. If you don't take anything else away, take this away. Calories are really important. And actually, they're the number one mistake that prevents midsection weight loss, funnily enough. So, calories. What are they, first of all? Really simply, calories are actually just energy, okay? It's one way to measure the energy that's inside of food. So the food that we eat contains energy. If you imagine that the sun provides energy for the earth, it's sending its rays over, ultraviolet light and all these different rays and UV radiation, all this stuff, okay? The plants soak in that energy from the sun and the plants grow, okay? Of course, there's more things that make plants grow, but just want you to imagine this for imagination's sake. So imagine that the plants are absorbing all this great energy from the sun. They grow strong, they grow big, and then of course we pull those plants out of the ground once they're big and strong, and then we eat them. Okay, so when we eat the plants, we get the energy from the plants. But some plants contain or have absorbed more energy from the sun than other plants. So some plants have very little energy in them, and some plants have a lot of energy. And if we walked around eating very low energy foods, we know that people who eat very, very small amounts of food, very small amounts, end up with neurological disorders. They suffer from anxiety and lack of sleep, and their stress levels go up and all that sort of stuff because they're not getting enough energy into their body. People who maybe have some type of eating disorder or whatever it is. So we know that caloric restriction or very low energy results in a lot of these problems, okay? Not to mention physical problems like bone density loss and muscle loss and nails breaking, hair breaking, all that sort of stuff. So calories are really just energy, okay? So when you eat food, you get a certain amount of energy from the food, and all different types of food contain different amounts of energy in them. And the truth is that, yes, let's say if we're cave people and we're running around and we're foraging, leaves off the trees or berries or whatever, or hunting something, whatever beliefs you have about, cave tales. Yes, sure, we would have always been eating different amounts of energy, but we don't live in an energy deficit age today. We live in an age where food is abundant, where we can literally get these high energy foods very easily. So we can't really follow with the old debate of, caveman style, because a lot of us we're not starving. We don't live in a country where we don't have food. We have plenty of it, and the food that we do have usually has a lot of extra calories in it, especially the box stuff. So anyway, eating too many calories, how much is enough? That's another question a lot of my clients used to ask me before we put together the complete program in our Bikini Body program. So eating too many calories, that is really the number one mistake that prevents midsection weight loss.